Am I the antagonist for forcing my ex to cancel his business trip so he can watch our son after his girlfriend caused our nanny to quit? I had a nanny, Cora, who worked for both myself and my ex. While my ex paid her, he left most of the decisions about her employment and how she would care for our son to me. Cora asked me if it would be okay if she could bring her niece with her to work while she cares for my son as her sister was in the hospital. Her niece and my son are both close in age, so I thought it would be nice for him to have a child to play with, and Cora has honestly been a lifesaver for the 2 years she worked for us. Things were great until Cora called me to tell me she was quitting after my ex's girlfriend told her she couldn't bring her niece into his house even after Cora had told her I had said it was fine. I tried to convince Cora not to quit, but she said the girlfriend spoke to her so rudely that she couldn't continue working for us. When I called my ex, he agreed his girlfriend was in the wrong, but thought this would just mean I would stay home to care for our son and he would take care of us financially again. I told him he needed to cancel his business trip next week because our son is supposed to be with him from Thursday to Sunday. He told me he couldn't just cancel as the trip was important, but I was annoyed, so I told him that was too bad and it was a good thing he was his own boss then because he had to watch our son on his days and he couldn't do that from the US. Now he's upset with me, and his sister told me he broke up with his girlfriend in front of everybody because he was angry after our conversation. Am I the antagonist? NTA. His childcare was lost due to his girlfriend, and he is responsible for finding backup childcare during his parenting time. Most parents have to schedule their business travel when their children aren't with them if they don't have alternative care. So he needs to parent woman shrugging he didn't have good boundaries with his girlfriend about her minding her manners with the important childcare provider he employs, and now he has consequences. I hope you can give the nanny a good reference for her next role. She did not deserve mistreatment. Hopefully you find an excellent new nanny shortly as well. NTA. It's troubling that you're even asking if you've done anything wrong. Your ex's girlfriend caused the nanny to quit. Therefore, your ex needs to find a solution. Not only that, he is meant to have the children when his trip is scheduled, so he can't force you to be responsible for something you are not responsible for. You already have the responsibility of finding a new nanny. Don't trust your ex to do it, and that's enough to deal with. I get the impression that you've been conditioned to clean up your ex's messes. You don't have to care if he is upset. What needs to happen is for him to learn to take responsibility. Maybe he'll be more careful next time he chooses to bring a girlfriend into the house. This is the first step in his journey towards being less of an AH. NTA, his girlfriend, created the problem. He expected you to give up your life, and he doesn't want to be inconvenienced by his girlfriend's actions. My question is, why won't Cora come back if the girlfriend is no longer in the picture? Is there more to Cora leaving? Your ex's GF overstepped. It was none of her business. I also think that your ex didn't fully understand the impact until you told him he had to take time off to care for your son. Good for you. Also, of course he broke up with his GF. Am I the antagonist for getting mad at my husband for staying out past 2 a.m. while on a business trip in Europe? First post. My husband, 36, and I, 35 female, have been married for 4 years. We have an almost 2-year-old little boy, and I'm currently in my 3rd trimester with our 2nd. He likes to go out and party and drink. He is currently on a business trip in Europe with one of his work buddies, P. P is going through a divorce, and they've been out late almost every night drinking while in Europe, even when it's a work night. We are also in the process of buying our first home. I received a call today from the notary with important information that I had to urgently discuss with my husband. So I messaged him to ask whether we can quickly chat before he goes to bed, since I am 6 hours behind. He kept telling me that he might be out late, etc., but I assumed because it was a work night that he would be back at the hotel at latest 11 p.m. We finally agreed to speak to each other before he goes to bed. Following this, I didn't hear from him for hours, and when he did finally message me, it was 2 a.m., saying he was tired and he wanted to go to bed and that we would chat tomorrow. I was furious. I had to talk to him about something important, and instead he went out drinking with P. He claimed that P was drunk and he couldn't leave him alone, which is why he got back so late. I wasn't mad at him for taking care of P, but I was mad that he didn't even tell P he needed to at least tell me what was going on instead of being MIA for 5 hours, or that he didn't prioritize the fact that I needed to talk to him at a reasonable hour. This isn't the first time something like this happens. I said he was immature for staying out so late drinking, especially since he has work tomorrow. Am I the antagonist for getting mad at my husband for going MIA and partying on a weekday during a business trip? Clarification: when I initially messaged him, I told him that I needed to talk to him urgently because it was important and the issue was stressing me out. We never spoke on the phone. These were texts through WhatsApp. I couldn't call him because he doesn't have a plan for roaming, so I have to wait until he gets back to the hotel to talk. I tried to message him again while he was MIA, but he never saw the messages. NTA. I don't really understand everyone saying that OP is an asshole. Her husband is getting drunk with his friend abroad while she is home with their child, pregnant with another, and dealing with logistics of buying a house, and all she needed him to do was speak with her on the phone to go over something for their house. NTA, I'm 36 female and I go on a lot of work trips. I usually go out for dinner every night with my colleagues. But staying out to 2 a.m. every night is excessive. It's not supposed to be a clubbing holiday. I'm going against the grain here and saying not the a-hole. Thanks in advance for the down votes, everyone. OP, you have a toddler, you're in your 3rd trimester of pregnancy, you're in the middle of buying a house, and your husband can't be reached by phone on another continent because he's drunk and or helping his drunk friend. Are you sure you want to buy a house with this guy? He sounds too immature to be a husband or father, much less pay a mortgage. He seems to be using his trip to pretend he's single and has no responsibilities. When his pregnant wife is home alone with his toddler, his first priority should be checking in and staying in touch. There's really no excuse for being MIA for hours, especially when you told him you needed to talk to him. Am I the antagonist for not wanting my partner's best friend's input or her as a bridesmaid in our wedding? My 29 female partner J, 31 M, wants me to include his best friend H, 36 female, as a bridesmaid in our wedding. H and I used to get along a couple of years ago, but she told J that she doesn't like me a while back. I have never been rude to H, and I am always polite and civil when she is over, especially for J's sake, because I know that H is one of J's closest friends. I still talk to her to say hi and bye, but I do not class her as a friend, especially when she is polite to me, but will talk about me saying how she doesn't like me behind my back. J and I recently got engaged, and we are currently fighting because he wants H to be a bridesmaid in our wedding, but I don't want her to be. I don't want someone to input an opinion and be part of my hen's night, especially if she doesn't like me, because I want our wedding and the time leading up to it to be drama-free, and I know it will just cause drama having someone who doesn't like me as part of my bride's party. J keeps insisting on getting H's opinions and not my friends who I want as a part of my wedding party, and he keeps getting angry and treating me like I am the asshole for this. I have told J that if he wants her opinion to make her a part of his wedding party, but he won't. I then said we could possibly wait until closer to the wedding date to see if H and I become friends again, but I honestly don't feel as if that will happen. Furthermore, I am starting to feel a bit like an asshole because it is his wedding as well, and maybe I should just put up with it for his sake. So Reddit, am I the antagonist? Edit, there is nothing between them and there has never been anything between them. They are more like brother and sister, and she is in a happy relationship of her own. It's more because he doesn't have very many friends because he isn't a sociable person and he wants her to feel girly and be included instead of being stuck with the boys. NTA, for this reason, the bride determines who is part of the bride's side of the wedding. The groom's side is for the groom to determine. If he wants to invite her as one of his ushers or his best, well, man, that's his business, but he doesn't get to tell you who you have to include as a bridesmaid. Just out of curiosity, what did he say about her saying she doesn't like you? There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded. NTA. Having her on the groom's side is a good compromise. Set your boundaries now and keep them. NTA. Sure, it's his wedding too. However, she is his friend, not yours. Honestly, what kind of partner would do this? Try and convince their so to have a person that doesn't care about them to be their bridesmaid. Your partner truly doesn't sound kind from this, and it sounds like a big deal. He's keeping a friend that talks badly of you and forces them on you. He's not respecting any of your boundaries. I suggest you reflect over your relationship as an entirety. How does he actually treat you? Reflect and don't make excuses for him. Loving people don't need to be excused for their behavior all the time. I hope things will go well for you. Why is someone who doesn't like you a part of your wedding at all? I wouldn't even have them there, and if my partner couldn't understand that, then he'd be out the door. Why would his friend who doesn't like you be around you? I think everyone's priorities are all messed up. Am I the antagonist for refusing to rent to anyone with children? My husband and I own a 3-bed, 2-bath house. It's just us, so our 2 spare rooms and extra bathroom don't see much use. We can afford our mortgage, but since I'm about to be going back to school, some extra cash to offset the costs would be nice, so we're going to rent out the spare rooms. We've advertised that we have 2 rooms available and are looking for individual tenants for each room, who will sign their own lease. We've consulted a lawyer, and we're legally in the clear. We don't want couples or kids. Well, we've had a bunch of single parents who can't read, I guess, go to apply, and then say something like, oh, I want both rooms, and my kids will be taking the second. When I tell them I'm looking for 2 individuals who can sign their own leases, they get mad, because the kids obviously can't. And then they bash on me for keeping them from finding housing for their kids or whatever. I've had this happen at least 4 times, and my friends all think it's reasonable to be picky about who I will live with. My parents have given me shit for it. My parents are mostly giving me shit because there's a housing crisis here, but I don't exactly see them housing anyone's kids, so. Am I the antagonist for not renting to anyone with kids? NTA. Having roommates as an adult sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. Being very picky about who you're living with is wise, and if you don't want kids, that's completely fair. NTA, it's your house and you can choose who you want to share it with. I'm wondering if it would help if you listed only 1 room at a time? Once you get the 1 room rented, and I'm sure you will have lots of applicants, then you can advertise the other room, or you can choose another person from the list of applicants you have. That way anyone with kids most likely won't apply, because they will think there is only 1 room. NTA. Although, I would consider advertising the available room on a college bulletin or something. For example, my husband, before I met him, had a home where he rented out the other rooms, but he only rented to graduate students. They were usually more mature and able to pay since they have to budget their expenses ahead of time. He was able to get connected with the local university that had an online roommate finder thing, where people could post their vacant rooms and students could get in contact and rent the rooms. Maybe that might help. I would also like to note that I am not sure if it is legal to post that you're not renting to families with children. Don't want you to end up in hot water. I wouldn't want to rent to kids either. They can be incredibly destructive. And you said you're going back to school, so I'm sure having noisy kids around isn't ideal. Try advertising to university students. They tend to be childless. Would I be the antagonist for accepting my cousin's college fund as payment from my aunt? Alright, so, I'm 24, female, a stripper. I mostly like my job, though as a lesbian it can be kind of frustrating. Still, I like dancing, and I like making people's day brighter, and I'm good at it. Doubt I'll want to do it for the rest of my life, but for here and now I'm happy and making good money. To put it quite simply, my cousin, 19, male, did some shit that I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to talk about, and now he's going to be in jail for a long-ass time. My aunt, 48, female, has cut him off completely. says she has no son, refuses to acknowledge him, and is working on erasing every trace of him from her life. My aunt is also very rich and very gay, and she has a whole group of friends made up of rich gay women from her industry. It's a big, spread out group that don't manage to get together a ton. But my aunt's best friend is having her 50th birthday bash on her private island. Yeah, it's nuts to me too, and my aunt, while in no shape to attend, has decided to distract herself by planning said party. My aunt offered me the job of entertainment/server. I'll spend the week on the island. During the day I'll be serving drinks and snacks and being eye candy, and during the night I'll dance. I'm not an escort, don't start with me in the comments. I will also be doing cosplay, because my aunt has some nerd friends, spending time in character and doing routines in costume. And as payment for this week, my aunt has offered me the entirety of my cousin's college fund. And since her plan was designed around him going to an Ivy League and not needing to take any loans, that's a life-changing amount of money for me. I am entirely aware that this would be grossly overpaying me. That while I'll be doing a lot, I'm not doing that much. My mom was eavesdropping when my aunt made me this offer and has flipped out on me. She says that I'd be taking advantage of my aunt's grief to accept this, that even if my aunt never forgives my cousin, whole other bag of worms, she might regret not taking that money back for her retirement fund or something similar. She's threatening NC if I accept. Would I be the antagonist to take it anyway? NTA. But your aunt is weird for wanting you around as eye candy for her friends. If you're sure there will be no problems and you'll be safe, take the money, guilt-free. NTA. It's your aunt's money, not your cousin's. You are not taking money from your cousin. You are taking money from your aunt. I'm confused why your mom would threaten NC for you accepting payment for services rendered. It's not your mom's money. She doesn't get a say. NTA. I'm the childless gay aunt of my family, and I have a college fund for my nibbling. I'm saving that money to contribute to my family's future, and if I had to change who got that money, I'd give it to another young LGBTQ person hoping it would make a difference for them. So your aunt offering it to you makes so much sense to me. You're not taking advantage of her, she's trying to give you an advantage that her child squandered. Your mom's objection is coming from a kind place. Maybe ask your aunt if she's talked to her financial advisor about this. Then you can honestly say to your mom that your aunt has checked it over legally and financially, and you would never want to cause discord in the family over something like money. Craft this statement to make mom feel heard, whatever works. Then never say exactly how much money you received, and live your best life. I wouldn't accept it as payment if it's completely disproportionate. Just tell her what your normal fee would be, make sure to apply the private island surcharge, and tell her that this is all you could accept as payment. And then tell her that if she still wants to give you a gift once there is some distance between her and whatever her kid did, then you would accept that in the spirit in which it's given. Would I be the antagonist for not getting my GF the ring she wants? My GF is a picky person and doesn't like surprises, so I told her I would propose and gave her a budget to pick out a ring. She picked out a 1.5 carat pink sapphire ring with 2 smaller diamonds and a white gold band. It's within budget, but it's not very traditional. I asked her if we could get a cheaper clear-looking stone on it and have it on the ring until after the wedding, then I'll pay for the sapphire to be put back on. Both her and my families are very traditional, and I know our moms will make a stink about the ring being pink. She said she wanted to be proposed to with the pink sapphire. Then I asked her if she is okay with a more expensive ring to compensate for it not being pink. I'm not joking, guys, I'd be yelled at for not getting her a non-traditional ring. She said she was happy with the pink sapphire, and she didn't need a more expensive ring. So should I just get her the ring and accept yelling from my mom and my future mother-in-law? YTA, if the number one person you want to like the ring is mommy, you are not ready to get married. YTA, you are marrying your girlfriend, not her mother, and definitely not your mother. Their opinions do not matter. The only opinion that does matter is your girlfriend. By not listening to her and respecting her preferences, you are showing her that you do not value her as a person and definitely not as a partner. Grow up. You are letting other people dictate what should be a special moment between you and your girlfriend for absolutely no reason besides something you think may happen. Who cares what other people think? Do you really live your life based on what other people may or may not think of you? Sheesh. My guy or girl, if she wants the pink ring, get her the pink ring. Who cares what your mothers say? It's your GFS ring, not theirs. You said it was within the budget, therefore the only problem I see is that you want a traditional ring to get out of a difficult situation at the expense of your GFS happiness. No offense, but you're putting your mother's happiness above your girlfriend's. Grow a set and get your wife what she wants. And learn to stand up to your mom. Grown adult afraid of getting yelled at by mommy. My God, I'm embarrassed for you. If the number one person you want to like the ring is mommy, you are not ready to get married.